Games Workshop's basement. Hosted by John Quennell, Danny McDevitt, Val Heffelfinger, I'm Dickie, and it's Grim After Dark.
Guys, welcome to Grim After Dark. We are Warhammer 40,000's only late night show. For some reason, I'm very hot tonight, and my mic also is. My name is John. I'm here to misinform and entertain as we talk about the goings-on over the last week in the world of Warhammer. It's a task so massive, I literally refuse to do it alone. So let's meet the team, guys. First up is my good friend. He's advised me to state that he brings a wealth of tabletop knowledge and experience to the table. It's Daniel J. McDevitt. Oh, sorry, mate. The J stands for amazing.
John,
Danny, how are you doing?
To be here as always. Is it? I'm doing good. How are you, John?
I'm so good. I'm so ready to go. We have so many cool things. So I can't wait for you to make fun of me for doing a rundown again. But you know what? Even your amazing encyclopedic Encarta-like knowledge of Warhammer is not enough to help us this week. How can we forget our last host here? He might have taken an edition off, but he's back in full force for 10th for the next hour. It's our resident comedy genius and leader of the largest orc wad this side of Climax, Saskatchewan. It's Val Heffelfinger.
It's me. Hello, everyone. Yeah, swinging tunes. All right.
Love that. So do you guys know, by the way, for only $10, I can pay a person on Fiverr to make a rap as an outro for the show.
Just how much?
$10. US.
Oh.
US.
I also find it funny that for only $10 on Fiverr, you can do that.
John,
yeah.
Is this going to be the same level of music as like something like LL Cool J's hit single from the movie Deep Blue Sea?
Well, oh yeah, absolutely. Like I am actually going to do it, and that's going to be our new outro song.
Like Grimmest, Darkest.
I really hope I pay $10 and it's just him saying his name over and over and going, but we'll get more into that later.
So.
Guys, last but by no means least, he's the man behind the curtain and the guy who's responsible for everything you see that isn't just us talking. It's the master of the digital short, though she says it's average. It's Dickie.
Ooh. Ouch. And I didn't even get music. Thanks.
That's what she said. Oh, wait.
Thank you.
Dickie!
I'm so excited for this show, by the way. Oh my god.
Dude,
we're
so
hyped.
hyped.
I'm killing myself. It has to be
just
good.
shit. That's high stakes, guys.
Yeah.
He's a family man. He's got people to count
I got a
on.
lot to lose here.
Well, luckily, we're always going to be rolling sixes tonight, fellas.
That's toilet humor. But tonight we have a full slate as we find out what's been going on in the last week in our patented State of Play segment. We're going to wade through the good stuff from last weekend's not Warhammer 40k reveal and breaking news. We're going to delve into the depths of the community as we go around the net, and Dickie brings us his first Grim game in our latest and very much mystery new game that even Val and Danny do not know about.
No idea.
But let's wrap this up with Val's very favorite segment. It's time for State of Play.
It's
yeah,
funny.
and we learned after last week. Tell them, Dickie. Tell them the surprise.
Yeah, we took all your audio off, so you can't ruin any of the bumpers now.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's our patented State of Play. Other people might call it hobby progress and games played. We want to talk about the state of our playing.
Yeah.
So, starting on the far left, your screen's moving over. Danny, how was your last week in Warhammer?
John, it was pretty un-Warhammery. I don't think I did anything Warhammer except for the show last week.
Perfect, Grim hobby progress.
I made some army lists. I don't know. That was fun.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go talk about that later on. We're going to go over the brand new Warhammer 40k app that's been bumped 2 weeks in a row, but not today. Well, unless toilet-based thing really kind of pushes us like over the edge again. Valerie, back in the game, back in 10th. What have you been up to in the last week?
Last week, I said I was going to play a game on TTS versus Dickie.
Yeah, we did not.
And then we didn't do that.
We didn't do that.
I've made some hobby progress. I got paint on my fingers, but it's the big boy room for my son.
Oh.
So that's for his new room. So I've been painting a room. Not
always
any
exciting.
models.
Nice.
So it was, my favorite thing, and just to get sentimental, was getting rid of my son's crib and getting him into his big boy bed, which he was very excited about. So
Oh.
good job.
Yeah.
I personally, I've painted 20 Necron warriors. That was
Flexing.
what my week was. Yeah. Because turns out when you don't just insanely worry about if it's going to look good, and you just paint the damn things and don't try and put 30 different paints on a Necron warrior, they turn out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Dickie, what about you? What you been up to?
A lot of WTC prep. So we're going through army lists and factions to kind of determine what is going to be that top 8. So it's very exciting for Team Canada. Yeah. Very exciting.
Have you guys found an official salt sponsor for Team Canada?
No, we have not. We need one.
Oh,
so
man.
if you're a salt sponsor and you want to help a team out,
Pride of Canada, Windsor Salt. I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can arrange
I'm sure
something.
they watch this show. Yeah.
Oh, no one does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially all we've been up to. Real quick, nothing exciting at all. No games played. We just basically podcasted, and one of us did a little bit of hobbying. So it's just right on par with every other 40K podcast. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
But we got a rough recap. I want to touch on this. I don't have a fancy bumper or anything from it, but Val, I did make a picture, and I'm hoping that you can walk me through what message I'm trying to create based on this picture on this second slide here.
Okay.
Oh, I like that he said second slide. So I knew
Yeah, it's
which
my really
slide.
subtle note for Dickie right here. Yeah.
I knew which slide.
Oh, yeah. This is a big one, guys. WAP has been dried up. It is no longer. It is now DAP. It's
It's a dry WAP.
It is the dry version of WAP. WAP has now been submerged beneath the sea and scuttled over into some sort of URL ending in .ru, I'm sure. But yes, Matthias Eliasson, the creator of the Warhammer Armies project, was levied a cease and desist order from his friends over at the legal department at Games Workshop LLC. That's
his friends. Like,
Yeah.
do you think they ended the cease and desist letter with like, "Hope to see you at Christmas, love"?
years in gaming. Yeah, it's actually he did include the if you swing over to Val Heffelfinger's Twitter, you can see the actual cease and desist letter, quite amicably phrased, I'd say.
I thought it was
pretty
a
good.
very nice cease and desist.
the
as
biggest
all things go.
The biggest thing that shocked me for this is that Matthias has been at this for 13 years, which is actually since before Warhammer Fantasy was exploded and discontinued. He's never actually received a cease and desist letter, which I've said on another show, which is just to me so strange. Because like he was making these army books in the period of time where like GW's like was as into suing their customers as they were into making games, and he somehow has never been told to stop. The Warhammer Armies project was mentioned in a customer survey of like, what other games do you play? Things such as Warhammer Armies project.
Oh,
So it's been I'd say this is the official announcement that Warhammer: The Old World is about to be released. Was the cease and desist letter?
No, I will say I did look over the cease and desist letter that you put up on your Twitter, Val, and the main contention from Games Workshop wasn't the rule set, it wasn't even republishing or balancing. It was the use of art and the copying of verbiage from Fantasy Battles over to this WAP project.
Oh yeah, and the fact that he makes them look like they're official releases.
So
Like from a protecting trademark perspective, like this is like a slam dunk. Like he's literally trading on like their like, legitimate. Like I remember the first time I saw that Cathay army book that he'd made, I was genuinely confused. I didn't realize that Cathay had ever been made before. So I don't know. The fact that it took 13 years is the biggest strange thing here, I think, for everyone involved, including Matthias.
Danny, legally, how do you feel about this? Because again, this was something you've played a couple times, I believe, with the WAP. It was a system you enjoyed. What's your take on the cease and desist and the future of the wettest of army projects?
Well, I think Val brings up some really good points. As far as like, this kind of being the herald of the old world releasing, which is pretty cool and significant. I think that's a good sign. I think that may have been a driving factor, like for the production of the old world, is like people still playing this game so much that it shows up on surveys as like something that people play. So showing that there's a market, I think, for this product. In addition to that, like obviously Warhammer Total War is obviously the main influence on that. But
So, in your non-legal opinion, Danny, does the fact that they have not defended copyright in this situation for 13 years, and in fact acknowledged its existence, does that mean that Matthias Eliasson actually owns all of the rights to Warhammer Fantasy Battles at this point? Squatters' rights.
oh, like due to abandonment?
I've squatted
I don't
on
know
this
about
IP
that.
for
IP,
13
squatters'
years.
rights.
It's not mine.
Oh, all right.
CA is just like what?
I'd have to look into that.
CA's
That's his
actually
polite
been
way of
paying
saying
Matthias
no.
this whole time for the Total War games. They actually haven't been paying Games Workshop. They
pretty
licensed it from him.
What Danny actually means when he says, I'm going to have to look that up, is you're wrong. No, I'm not going to do that. That's just a polite way to ignore it.
I've actually seen Twitter lawyers say that there's no such thing as an abandonment thing in the UK. So, which is strange considering the foundation of all of the Hollow Blue GWs made around IP about not abandoning their IP being very important. Maybe that deals specifically with their copyrights in the United States. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But enough legal mumbo jumbo. WAP is gone. Long live the old world. And long live the Not 40K preview as we slide into our brand new segment, Not Breaking 40K News.
It's a long drawn
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Last Saturday, Games Workshop treated us to a 40K list preview to make up for the sheer volume of attention that Favorite Child 40K has received over the last couple of months, and the internet did not disappoint. When asked what people are most excited about from this preview, the community responded on Twitter with this. Things like, I apologize for the unrelated question, but do you know when the 10th edition Crusade sheets will be available for download print? They also responded with, what are you looking forward to from this Not 40K preview? An easier to assemble Adeptus Serratus Rhino. Mine took me like 3 hours with all those fiddly bits, and some of them, like the vines and purity seals, break coming off the sprue because they're so tiny and fragile. And Spoontastic Minis with the wonderful thing, new Tyranids. Val, Danny, how do you think Tyranids are going to play in the old world?
Great question, John. I think they're going to find it tasty. Probably they're not going to like the armor save modifiers from strength values again.
That's true. But I will say, the most important thing to remember, if you are responding to a post that is specifically telling you 40K is not important, and you are unable to analyze that as it's not being about 40K, please remember this next slide here. Our friends Frontline Gaming have a secondhand store that's the best resource you can have to purchase your temporarily meta-destroying armies before they're patched next week. We have a code. I don't know what it is. Just tell Reese we said to shop there. I'm sure it's fine.
Sure.
Email him personally, contact him on Facebook. He loves that stuff. But in actuality, guys, I will say, as someone who doesn't really play Games Workshop games out of 40K, the reveals were amazing. We're going to start off tonight with the 40K's younger brother, Age of Sigmar, and the brand new Cities of Sigmar range that was previewed. These guys look fucking amazing.
So good.
They look great.
So good. Wow.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, they're stunning.
I don't care for them.
They're absolutely gorgeous models. I don't think there's anything else that need be said aside from that. These things are straight fire, I think.
Danny, Val, you guys obviously longtime fantasy battle players. This range based off of the old, I would say, Empire range. How does this sort of work for you as sort of a modernization or reinvention of an existing range like Empire?
Poor. I don't like these models at all, John.
Oh yes,
Like I like the wizard is okay.
We've achieved discourse. Yeah.
yes, yes, Danny. More. Tell me I'm stupid.
No, you're not stupid.
No,
Hey,
stop.
No, stop it.
Stop it. But ultimately, I think the models are kind of flat and they're like kind of boring.
Well, it's because they're
Like
pictures,
they
Danny.
don't look. I mean, they just look like. I don't know. One of my friends said this about the first preview models, and I totally agree. It looks like a generic like fantasy guardsman sculpt from some Kickstarter. like where they have
Really?
over ornamentation of the model. I just like the poses are cool, and like the dynamicism of the models is good. Like the Manticore is rad. You can't say that that's not a cool model,
Right.
even if I don't like the aesthetic of the army.
I
Like the
am
squares, like the weird squares within squares.
squares on squares. Ironically enough, in this case, because they're on circles. What I really love about them.
No, some are on ovals.
Some on ovals.
True.
What I really love about them is that they're putting humans in the Age of Sigmar world that aren't like 100 Years War or whatever, Empire dudes that just never fit the setting. And these guys are of Age of Sigmar's world, and to me, it's like essential world building. I think it's kind of a thing that they should have probably led with. I think they were hoping that the Stormcast would do that for them, and obviously they did. But now there is like a truly grounded in Sigmar human faction, and I'm all for it. I think these guys do not look right, probably because they're 32 millimeter gigantors. They would not look right on a fantasy tabletop, and that's perfect. That means that they've at least found themselves an identity that's specific to Age of Sigmar, and I think that's cool. And I also do think that they are very ornate and weird and sort of other realmly.
Ooh.
So that's cool.
I will say I do think they look badass, but I wouldn't buy them. So I'm sorry. It's terrible, but that's great. There was more than just Age of Sigmar, because apparently there's more games that Games Workshop makes than just Age of Sigmar and 40K. I will say, guys, with all this preview, I didn't bother with Warcry or Underworlds. That's okay.
That's
We're
fair.
gonna move on.
Although the Underworlds had some slick looking Skaven in it.
Oh, those
though,
Skaven
I have
looked
to say.
great.
Oh yeah, those were cool.
It was so
Like the
cool.
peasant
Yeah, way to leave those
sword
out, John.
That was cool.
I decided to leave those out and to really keep the theme of things that aren't 40K. They also announced these guys here, a new set of knights for Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, that are playable in games of
Yeah, you can bring
30K.
them for 40K, no problem.
And 40K.
Danny, these knights are ported over from resin models that Forge Worlds produced. What are your take on the differences in kind of the plastic Acheron and Castigator?
I don't know. It's
Apart
hard
from
to
the
see a
tiny
difference, really.
sword.
I think the Warblade is smaller, maybe
The
on
tiny
the
sword.
Castigator.
How are they able to hit anything?
The
But I
sword
haven't
is so
built
small.
that. He can bend over. How can any
He's got
knight hit
reach.
anything?
He's got reach. These
It's
guys these are the tall knights. They don't need the long sword. They're tall. They got reach.
It's the tallest knight with like a butter knife, just kind of like hanging out there. It's so tiny. Hopefully,
I'm super curious to see what
Acheron looks
the old Castigator looks like.
he has a bigly sword. It's very impressive. But yeah, these knights are coming in plastic. They're going to be a dual kit to go along. So all of the Cerastus knights now will be in plastic, which is an exciting thing to see.
Yeah.
Could it be an angle? Could it be an angle thing? I don't know. I'm looking at
Could be.
the knight Castigator like old sculpt, and I don't know. Maybe they caught him at a maybe he just got out of the swimming pool, and like, we're just catching him at a weird angle because his arm's a little bit back there.
Warzone's a little cold.
Yeah, maybe we're just seeing a little shrinkage.
Oh,
It's not fair.
yeah.
It's fair. Swords known to grow in the warmth, so that's very fair. But what you guys, I would imagine, are most excited to talk about as I move my hand so it doesn't automatically disappear.
Are we?
Weirdly, is
This fucking thing, man.
the old world. Was
Yeah.
also some previews coming in here with this gentleman, the very knightly battle standard bearer.
Yeah.
Thoughts on our first mounted new Bretonnian model?
Speaking of things that can be derisively described as being able to be found in a Kickstarter.
Isn't that part of
That's
like
fair.
the fantasy charm? I mean, is that you're looking at ranked units that don't have a whole lot of variation, so that they can rank up and kind of look uniform? Or am I just totally missing the mark there?
Yeah, probably missing the mark there.
It's part of it. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think here, Denny? I mean, I joked that this was the extending the long tradition of putting the standard bearer for your army in a box set that you have to buy.
Yeah.
But
I think the model is kind of like, okay, I don't really understand what the motion is. of this model. Like, it's a cool model. Everything about it is cool. Like, the detail is cool. I like that stuff, but it, like, shouldn't he be going faster? Like, if he's at the head of like a lance formation, I want him to be like galloping,
Charging,
I want him
yeah.
to
He's
show-
like sort of standing at
Yeah.
the top of the hill, like huzzah!
With his
yeah, like follow
ball
me,
and
boy.
chain
Yeah,
there.
like I don't
He
know.
also looks a little small for his horse.
Maybe he's a prince.
Well, it could be like somebody's son. You never know.
Yeah, it could be a prince.
It looks like he borrowed a Rough Rider's horse, but he's from Warhammer Fantasy Battles.
Yeah.
Well, there was some discussion on scale on this guy here, and I found this comment that I loved. He says, "What disproportionate shit is this?" So he starts off pretty low, and he's going to build up here. Pure amateur job, brains melted at GW, bigger, no weapon option Terminators, but smaller horse heads. His specific point is the head is too small. How many 3D printed proxies exist out there that there are at least realistic dimensions? You could also probably just look at a horse. That's just me. Get that effing guy that made the 3D prints of the last Bretonnian preview on foot to remake it to the right scale. At least he knows how to use CAD software.
Oh,
Jesus.
Nearly
Oh,
as
harsh.
disappointing and embarrassing to me as having a greasy sausage roll bakery in the FTSE 100.
I mean, that's
I'm
a
not a
deep cut.
finance guy. I don't know what that means.
I couldn't tell if that was a like some sort of a deep cut against Games Workshop, or if there in fact is some sort of a bakery on the FTSE 100. I
think there is here.
I didn't go digging as to what that is.
Yeah, it's a company called Greg's. It's fucking life. It's wonderful.
I thought they were good. That's what I've ever.
Greg's is amazing. Let me tell you, when I returned to the UK last month, I went up to the counter at Greg's and asked for a macaroni pie. Wonderful thing. The woman behind the counter was like, "We haven't sold those in 12 years." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I've been gone for a while."
Oh.
I
Oh,
felt very touristy. But yeah, Greg's trades very well actually. 2,600 pence a stock almost.
there you go.
Yeah, that's be embarrassed by really
By
good
the
stock
way,
numbers. Yeah.
That horse's head doesn't look any fucking smaller than the horse's head in the picture.
I don't know what the
Like, they're
yellow line's
virtually
telling
the
us.
same size.
I don't know what the yellow line is telling us, Danny.
Where the
I've
nose
studied
should
this.
be. Where the nose should be.
Balls go
But the
on a centaur.
model is more tucked, like he's tucked in. And
I
the other
don't know.
one's clearly galloping or running.
And I mean, he's also barded, so I mean, he's got
Yeah,
like a
there's-
bunch of chainmail
There's
on
so many
him.
more
Like,
factors
I would
to
say he's
this.
prancing.
I think it's the if anything's out of whack, I think it's the little short knight on the top of it. But whatever. The bigger issue here is it's like, give us a little more meat, guys. Throw us a little bit more.
One
But you know,
model.
whatever.
We get
Well,
one model every.
Up there.
Considering what the next reveal is, which came literally out of nowhere.
And Val, I will say thank you, even though you haven't seen the script or the slideshow this week. You set up the next slide perfectly because there was some complaints that one model wasn't very much. But I will point out that a week before the reveal, GW said that means we'll have shiny new things for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Horus Heresy, Underworlds, and Warcry, and even a new model to show you from Warhammer. Next slide, Dickie.
Boom.
Pull that up. It's they
New
specifically
model.
said
Just
they
one.
would have a new model to show. As this person said, only one model. Are they kidding? All we get in an update is one model,
That's correct, and you will like it.
and you will like it. And it was advertised.
Well, that's
what do you
nice.
guys hope to see like in the future here? Because we're getting up the rumored release for Old World is like August, September time, so we're getting sort of real close to that time. What are you hoping for going towards that time, sort of a reveal timeline, or what are you hoping to see?
Well, I'm thinking later than that probably, but yeah, something about the game would be nice. Danny,
Yeah.
anything would be good.
Yeah, I think just basically anything would be awesome. Like we're real excited about it, but like we want stuff to be excited about. So
Yeah,
if you could send us some stuff to be excited about, we'd be real excited.
Yeah,
about
that'd be
it.
nice.
I know
That-
that's circular, but it's gonna work.
and also considering it's a game that they've been like it's been in the slow cooker for 5 years.
They've
When was
been
it?
edging it for like 3 years
know.
official, 5 years rumored. Yeah.
No, well, no, because it was only official. There was no rumors that it was coming back in any credible way. It was just, we're going to do this in the future. We're going to do this. But I feel like that was 2019, 2018, something like that. So it's been a while. It's certainly one of the longest build-ups that I've ever seen them do, considering, again, what is about to be dropped on.
I want to say, Kim in chat asking what a macaroni pie was. So I told him Google it pretty much. And Kim said, okay, I Googled it. I withdraw my jokes. But I would submit that they probably stopped making it because everyone who was eating it died of congestive heart disease.
Got out just in time, John. Got out
yeah.
just in time.
No, I did not. Thank you, Taco Bell.
You're one macaroni pie away from a total coronary.
Oh, God, no, I'm still going to go there. Just give me 2 more years. But you guys hinted at it. We can't really ignore it anymore. The most exciting reveal of this is the rebranding of the old Epic system as Warhammer Legions. And I agree with Rosa from Brooklyn 99 here, just to say I love that little contemptor so much. He's so goddamn goofy. Like, that's all I can think about when I look at these kind of smaller scale models is, oh my God, they look ridiculous. Guys, thoughts on the Epic
They
reveal?
look so cool.
And also like this on this next slide here, what is going to be the new starter set for Epic, or I'm sorry, Warhammer Legions.
Yeah.
Not Star Wars Legions.
Looks cool.
Can I just say Epic is my second favorite GW game ever. So I'm real excited to see this back on the table. Like
Behind Dreadfleet, right?
I loved Epic Armageddon a lot. We played the shit out of that system, and it was really, really solid. Super fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've never dabbled. The only thing I played that was apparently analogous to Epic was the most recent 40k Armageddon rule set.
Apocalypse rule set, yeah.
Apocalypse rule set. I really, really loved how that game worked. In fact, I thought it would make great core rules for 40k period. This is probably, if anything was ever going to get me to engage with Horus Heresy at all, it's definitely this. I will be grabbing one of these starter sets to sit in cellophane on my shelf, just right alongside my Apocalypse rules.
I will say, like, much like Danny, like, I have a very fun spot in my heart for Epic. Epic was one of the games, like, of course, when you're like a young teenage lad and they're like, buy these armies, make these things, and like when your budget's very limited, it's hard to make a really cool cinematic game from what's like a 500 or 1,000 point second edition game at the time. Whereas with Epic or Titan Legions at the time, when kind of I got into it, it looked so, for want of a better word, epic. Like the table was full, the terrain looked amazing. It was one of the most cinematic games I think I've ever played on the tabletop, Games Workshop or other. With Gorka Morka being a close second, because I think the visuals in that game are absolutely mad. But Epic, for someone who couldn't afford to get like a full 2,000 or 1,500 whatever 40k army, Epic let me live that narrative of these massive battles having.
And I mean, to me, it makes like the scale makes so much more sense for what you're trying to what like they're trying to do with 40k period. Like if you're going for these like epic, like gigantic armies grinding against one another, like it just seems to make a lot of sense to have the smaller scale. And these guys, they've gone with what looks like an 8mm scale, which was their tacit admission to being in 32mm, because they said it's 1/4 the scale. But 8mm is also a little bit bigger than the old Epic, which I'm sure is going to annoy the old heads, but that's fine, because I don't have any of the old stuff.
This is to scale with the Titanicus stuff, right, Val?
Yes.
Yeah. So building on that, the surprise for me,
Is that not 8mm?
I believe so, but like what was surprising to me wasn't that it was in scale with Titanicus, because it would make sense to expand on an already successful system.
Oh, it is, and the flyers from Aeronautica Imperialis as well.
That's what surprised me, was pulling in the flyers and pulling in Aeronauticus to that. What's your guys' thoughts on kind of like these two disparate model ranges kind of being pulled together in this Legions game?
Fucking hype, dude. I'm excited.
Do you guys believe this is going to be the end of Titanicus or Aeronauticus, or will these survive separately out with Legion Imperialis rule set?
Like, so to me, and like, hear me out here, it feels like maybe this is a good way to use those models in this game system. But then if you want to use like kind of like narrow, like zoom in that microscope and kind of get into like a greater detail, maybe make it a little more groggy, you can play Titanicus or Aeronautica to like simulate that dogfight or that Titan battle.
Yeah, it's I think it's just kind of funny to me too, because the GW just can't resist making people rebase shit.
Also,
and they
fuck
have these
squares.
cool low profile bases that they're bringing out for these things, and everyone with Titanicus models can be like, God, son of a stupid new bases. It's amazing. I love it.
Just circles.
Never
They're all
change.
circles.
Never change Games Workshop. I love you.
Screw squares. Circles are the way.
Yeah, I guess the old Epic was on weird. Were they
Square
on
bases.
squares?
They were on squares.
Okay.
There's a little 5 Marines to a
Sometimes.
square. What was on a
Or
circle?
they were in rectangles too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Can't forget the old
I
rectangle.
feel like the newest version of Epic used little circles, but maybe I'm hallucinating that. That might be crazy.
You could use either. Like the base size didn't really it didn't have a huge impact. Just like only a few units used blast templates.
What I
So-
what I love is too is going back, like Games Workshop supported, well, Forge World supported a crazy amount of Epic units and things that you could buy for a lot of years. So there's and they were talking quite boldly about how, you know, just about anything that you can get in Horus Heresy will eventually be available for this scale of game. And yeah, bring on the Mechanicum. I would love to be able to field those wicked Mechanicum tanks and things like that in epic scale. I think that's gonna be super awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely will be. We're all very excited for Epic here. Danny's so excited he just left and then came back.
He's
Good.
back.
Awesome. Welcome. Yeah. You're so excited for Epic you went away for like
Blacked out.
15
You
seconds.
blacked out.
You blacked out from hype for 8mm
I'm
excitement.
glad it was hype this time, John.
But yeah, we want to thank our friends at GW for pointing out the amazing things coming for this not 40K preview. I said I think the reveal of go.
I just want, like, this is actually what I was hinting at before, where I'm just, it's just so bizarre to me that they've just snuck up what will be a very large game system and sort of like pulled it out from under the hat with just some very vague references to it. And now like they've gone from like, this game doesn't exist to here's the release box. So this says to me that this is coming out within the next quarter. Meanwhile, the old world gets one model.
I will say I don't
understand.
I do see Legions Imperialis being more popular than 30K. That's my hot take from this here, because it scratches a different itch.
Well, Titanic is like sold. Like I know that box set flew off the shelves when it came out.
I have so many Tiny Titans. I just never play, but they are assembled and they look gray and gray.
Mm-hmm.
They're so cool.
So cool. That's everything from the not Warhammer 40K preview. Sorry if you were expecting Warhammer, but great job in having a competitive 40K player reading comprehension. But it's time for us to go in a brand new segment, or I guess the same old segment, but now with a title, Around the Net. This also goes on for slightly too long, but that's okay. We're still working through things. Guys,
do I get to play Sandra Bullock?
Always. This is obviously just ripping off an old G4 show. So thanks, Attack of the Show. But welcome to Around the Net, the part of the show where we deep dive into the dank drivel the internet provides. And this week is truly breaking news, as well as an amazing discovery in our very own Discord, the Grimcord. One of our Patreons and host of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast, Aiden Smalley, shared an amazing story from his recent 5-0 GT runner-up spot. And no, it wasn't that he went 5-0 with Death Guard. What happened was a player at the event was suspected of bringing loaded dice and was called out when playing against a member of Team England, who you probably don't want to cheat. You probably don't want to cheat against a member of Team England. I'm assuming they have a pretty good lid in the rules. The TO asked to test the dice after the dice's quality were called into question, and the player decided to go to the toilet and came back to say he was dropping due to the persecution. And that's when this was found right here. Guys, 2 dice at the bottom of the toilet.
Oh, the
toilet
6-1. Incredible.
Incredible. What's your take on Toiletgate 2023?
Most iconic competitive 40K footage, I think, that has ever been filmed
my God,
since Tony got Tony'd. It's is incredible that this is something we're talking about today. This is just, and the poo smear Hellstrom Mikey pointed this out, but
It's really
the
specific
dollop
on the poo spear.
the dollop of poo on the toilet as well. Pristine toilet otherwise. It just gives us an idea of the scale and the gravity of the scenario that
The
we're
best
facing
part
here.
of this, chat's
There was
coming in.
gravity.
Joel's saying, some poor janitor's got to pull those out of there. No.
No.
The Team England player who accused him of cheating noticed those in there, and he pulled them out of there. And then they decided to do a salt test on them. So that cheated Team England player went to the store to buy salt
Get out of
to
here.
test the dice.
Wow, unbelievable. Although I think the flush test can soon become the gold standard method of testing cooked dice.
This is actually going to be a recurring segment where we're just going to flush dice in the toilet and be like, well, it looks like they were good. It's going to be like drowning a witch. If they flush fully, they were fine, but you can actually no longer use them because they're flushed.
I
And
So-
if they
If
don't
I can
flush.
set this thing up, John, as a closed system, so instead of rolling dice, I can just flush the toilet and like have it all roll, have them
See,
roll in the
that's
bowl.
what we're going to do for our LVO booth is we'll just have a toilet and having a closed system. And we'll offer to flush people's dice.
I will say this does bring me does bring back some very old memories of I was at a school in the United Kingdom, and I came under suspicion for using magic mushrooms. Of course I was, and I attempted to flush them down the toilet, and I had similar results.
The best part of this story, guys, is he wasn't using these loaded dice to help an underpowered army like, say, Death Guard, which again, Aiden, amazing player, went 5-0 with Death Guard. He was running double Wraith Knight Aeldari.
Yeah.
And
Yikes.
how okay, and this is going to be very judgmental coming from me, but how shitty a player are you that you need to cheat with a unit that you pretty much auto win with Wraith Knights? Danny?
I think. Oh,
We
sorry.
gotta
go
go
ahead.
first, John. That's really the what you have to do with this army, and so being able to roll that 6 every time means he's always going to go first.
I think that we've happened upon. I mean, there's a lot of gnashing of teeth. What do we do about fate dice? And I think the answer is, in order
Flush
to use
him.
your fate dice, you have to pull them out of a toilet. So you're gonna go fishing for that 6? I mean, you can go fishing if you like, but you got to you got to get your hand past that dollop of poo poo, and get that 6. I think
You know,
this is a solution for 10th edition.
Imagine if you were just like, I could use a fate dice and I could win the LVO and get a digital copy of every codex and have to go to New Mexico for a tournament, but I would have to touch poo dice. Danny, what are you doing in that situation?
I'd
It's
do
the
it. I'm
final of
touching poo dice,
LVO.
dude.
You would do it?
Yeah, I'm touching the poop.
Yeah, probably.
You would roll that log on the table and be like, oops, sorry, I touched your model. I mean, you can leave them on there if you want.
Yeah, dude.
Just
I would
incredible.
Katamari the shit out of my opponent's models.
Katamari with shit. Yeah, that was the Dice Gate is amazing. Will forever live with us. You will obviously see videos of myself at tournaments throwing dice into a toilet to prove that they're good.
God.
And yeah, please though, do not clog your game store's toilets with dice unless they bought a good quality one, which most game stores have not.
Yeah.
However, wonderful. Moving on, guys, there's a new 40K app from a few weeks ago. This keeps being bumped from other stuff, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. It was officially launched by Michael Brandt, seen here, hailing from Games of Workshop, as the Canadian
What is
news
that?
flag says.
Oh, this is when they were up in Edmonton. Oh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
He says,
my goodness.
Mike Brandt, Games of Workshop, Warhammer.
That's 2 words. That is so many mistakes. Oh, fantastic.
This was, I think, my favorite photo I found in a long time.
I wish they misspelled his name too.
They did. It's actually Michael. Guys, the new app is here, and it's not bad. Guys, thoughts on the new 40K app?
I've really kind of enjoyed it a lot. It's been working really well for me. I haven't found a ton of bugs. So yeah, the only thing I think it's missing is like being able to play games on it or keep track of score. That would make it even better.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
I mean, like we're coming from a now defunct app, Battlescribe, and you know, I would love to see some more functionality from this app, but yeah, it works. Okay, so like compared to the standard that we had, which doesn't work, it works. So I mean, people have been really happy about that. So I don't want to pee in anyone's cornflakes. Yes, there is an official app in which you can build a list that's probably accurate until they make adjustments to the game, in which case everything will be wrong. But yeah, like I mean, it works. The output from it is needs to be maybe trimmed down a little bit because you get pages and pages of text from your 2,000 point army list. Or at least it'd be great if there was a way to output less detail. That'd be great. And there's all sorts of UI complaints you could make about it. But you know what? It works. So I'm going to stop shitting on it.
Chat's asking here, is it worth $5 a month? I would say, well, it's got to do one thing for me first for it to be worth $5 a month. It has to output unit cards. So when you output your army, it needs to output the unit cards as a printable sheet out. And then absolutely, even its current state, $5 a month, I feel it's pretty good. It's very intuitive. It does everything pretty well. There's some stupid stuff like I can give a unit of 10 Necron warriors and 99 guns.
Yeah,
like
that kind of stuff is annoying.
It just seems like they're just some little stupid things that are easily fixed. I feel like.
Yeah, but most of all,
fixed.
I think this was the best possible version of the app that could have come out.
Is
I
it?
can't wait for it to be abandoned.
It's a version of the app that could have come out, guys. Let's.
It's the lead. It's not the worst version of the app that could have come out.
We've probably
We're
seen the worst
coming-
version.
We're coming from Battlescribe, which was one guy counting his like $30,000 a year or whatever, and be like, yeah, it's fine.
More than that.
Thanks for making all the data. And then the guy's finally being shown like, hey, we're not doing data anymore. Yeah, so uninstall Battlescribe. Do an app that does everything it really says in the tin, and I've not seen a whole bunch of complaining or miscalculations or army list errors.
Our standards are tremendously low, so that's fantastic. I would, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's an app. You can make a list in it. Fantastic. Let's see what happens when the new points come out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, what a great test.
But not everyone was happy. As former Batman the Miniature Game YouTuber who moved to Chief Games Workshop complainer after she noticed those videos did like 10 times the views, Discourse Minis asked on this question on Twitter, why not make it free? They get that people buy the models to play with them, right?
Yeah.
Guys, what's your thoughts on this?
They've released previous versions of their War Scroll Builder was free for a time period. I can see it, but they need reasons to get people to buy the Warhammer Plus subscription. So they put it behind there. I suppose that's why I'm nonplussed. Is that it is a subscription service, so you want a high standard of things for that.
Fair.
Well,
Fair.
first of all, not everyone who buys miniatures plays with them. In fact, I would say there's
The majority don't, I would say.
I mean, yeah, or they just play with their friends like once or twice a year or something like that. Like that's kind of like a huge percentage of the people that buy Warhammer miniatures. So I just think that's wrong. So that's wrong. Second, like, why would you listen to Discourse Miniatures? It's a terrible channel.
She's got some hot
That's the
takes.
second thing.
She's got some
Real
hot takes.
Real hot.
Hot takes. Only brings in like 30 times our subscriber count, but that's okay. I will say, regardless of anyone's opinion on the app, I have to commend someone who charges, as seen here, $30 for their merch shirt to have the guts to call out Games Workshop for overcharging for products. Fair play to you, ma'am.
I'm pretty sure our T-shirt was $30.
25. It's on the store right now. You can find it on YouTube.
That's a $5 discount, folks.
I double checked before making the joke. Don't worry.
And adjusted the
that's a
price
low fee.
accordingly.
But moving on, we famous now. I don't know if you guys knew. The show's picking up, and we made it onto Grimdark on Reddit.
Oh no.
With this god-awful meme. Shadowson, I know you're in chat here, so I'm sorry for this next section here. But Grimdark user and Grim After Dark viewer, Shadowson, posted this on Grimdark. using our intellectual property in a way that makes me want to charge $30 for a t-shirt. Danny, for the audio listener, what are we seeing here?
We're seeing just Grimdark, which is a normal Eldar model. And then we see this 3D printed big titty Eldar Guardian with no chest armor or helmet. And that's
famously,
Grim After Dark.
Or underwear.
Titty's the least shot part of the body.
Oh, sorry, I missed the other one.
Yeah.
My bad.
For sure. So I'm personally just super sad that they're not using the superior Drake version of the meme. So I kind of helped out and I kind of made this for them, which I think is a far better use of that meme with just some very basic Photoshop.
Yep.
But there were some responses to this because they did nicely say in the comment that it's a great podcast too. So thank you. You have terrible taste in
that's
models
nice.
and podcasts.
Yeah.
But my favorite were these two here. This first guy said, let me pull this up. Hey, OP, did you make the second model yourself? Did you buy it off someone? Because I Googled Grim After Dark and all I got was a podcast. Would seem like a fun thing to paint and have hidden in my army. Edit, not asking for free, would 100% guilt-free pay for this, which I think makes it worse. The edit makes it far worse.
What is
Also, Grim After Dark sounds like a porn parody of fairy tales. And Val, do you want to share the story of why we don't have Grim After Dark as a Twitter handle?
Oh man, that's a deep dark cut. Yes, I believe it was a like a dominatrix. Already had the handle?
Dominatrix is
Yeah.
handle. Yeah.
It already has
I
the
thought
handle.
it was.
Or
I
was
thought it was
some-
a furry. I thought it was a furry thing, John.
Oh,
So
it
I'm
was-
not sure.
No,
Wasn't
no,
it
it was like a BDSM thing. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. I had to click through it. Yeah, yeah. So that does exist as well. Obviously, these people didn't Google that well. But yeah, what can I say? You know, you live long enough to become the thing that you hate.
That's true. Please tell me it's a fanfic. Kim, no, this is an official Games Workshop model. They started releasing naked models now.
Yep.
I heard anyway. But yeah, guys, I was around the net. That was cool. We have some memes that we're running short in time, though I do like the pace of the show this week.
Okay.
But it's time for a brand new game that Dickie and I are very excited about.
What?
Danny and Val have no idea about. It's time to play Whose Grunt Is It Anyway?
Jesus Christ, those are so fucking long.
Yeah, I'm gonna don't worry, I'll cut them in half next week. I don't know. Dickie,
Yeah.
why don't you take it away? What is Whose Grunt Is It Anyway?
Okay, so John and I had a great idea. I'm going to put John in this because he said, okay, it sounds good.
I was like, that sounds like a great idea. That was my entire involvement in this.
So the
This is gonna go well.
We're really weird. So the two lovely gentlemen on the left side of the screen are going to be given each individually a sound, and they have to determine whether this is a porno or 40K.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dickie has clipped some sounds from some pornographic movies,
Yep.
and also some streams from War Games Live.
Yep.
And you guys need to tell us whether the grunt is from a 40K player or someone in a porn.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'm going to roll a dice
Right,
here.
I'm in.
Oh, I already decided the order, but
Oh,
yeah,
did
go ahead,
you?
roll a dice. I don't
Okay.
want to take out the fun for you.
Okay, I got Danny going first.
Oh,
Okay.
Danny's going first. Danny, are you ready to play Whose Grunt Is This Anyway?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Danny, I'm going to tell you the rules since it's your first time. You can listen to it again if you require.
YouTube asks that we
Yeah.
don't do it for
I'm
very
gonna need
long,
you to
though.
grunt that out for me again, please.
Okay. Now, Dickie has distorted both of
Yeah.
the sounds to make it a little harder as
Yeah.
well.
That's true.
Oh, that's true. That's true already. John, you know what? I'm gonna go with that's a 40K sound. I think that was a cry of anguish.
That feels like 40K to me too.
No, that was porn.
That was porn, baby.
That was porn. Danny's 0-1.
Damn it.
Val, are you ready to play? Whose grunt is this anyway?
I mean, I'm very prepared.
Yeah.
I've,
Okay.
This is something Yep.
Here is your grunt.
$40K.
You think this? What's causing that
Sounds
grunt?
I mean, that looks like a reaction to like maybe an amazing dice roll or something like that. That felt a little too elongated to be like a climax, in my view.
Can I make
Okay.
a comment about this?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's really rude to put Seth Oster on the show and not
Yeah, no, let me see. You said it was 40K.
Ah, come on!
It was porn.
Your wives
Jesus
are very
Christ.
proud of both of you. That's
I
all
think,
I'm going to
I
say
think
right
actually,
now.
Danny, just heads up. Dickie probably has far more access to sounds of porn than.
I was so worried when I was downloading. I was like, "Please, wife, don't come upstairs. Please, wife, don't
So
come
really,
upstairs."
what happened? He was like, "Hey, John. So my wife caught me looking at porn. So we're gonna do this game next week." No, really. All right, Danny, are you ready for your second sound? On whose grunt
Yeah.
is it anyway?
John, I swear to God, if this is the same game show with just different rules.
Okay,
and
I
you're
will
just-
say,
all the answers
there are
wrong.
absolutely equal grunts from both in this. So, and it was completely randomly chosen. It is not all just one.
Yeah.
But yeah, here is your grunt.
All right, one more time, please.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it up a little bit for you.
Yeah, please. Oh.
That's 3.
All right. I don't want to hear any more backwards.
Joel Atkins, the trick is they are not all porn. They're half and half
No, it's
40K
true.
streams.
It's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
I'm gonna go with that's got to be 40K. There's no way that's all porn.
Dickie, is that right or wrong?
Well, you have the soundboard to make it sound. Like
Shit, I don't have the right sound though. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 40K. That is
Hey.
War Games Live Joe sitting down.
It was a really good sit down. Like he was.
It was.
really-
You ready? It's just like you've set up your camera. Your
Yeah.
roaming one's fallen over again. You had to go fix it, and then you find your chair, and you're just. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear that
Dude,
now.
Val sounded straight up like Bigfoot, John.
Okay, Val, are you ready? You're down one. Is you have a chance to level the playing field here with your second sound. Whose grunt is it anyway?
That sounds like one we've heard before. Can I hear that again? Please? Porn.
Yeah.
Porn.
Porn.
Oh, that's a 40K player.
baby.
Okay, wait a minute. What's the slapping noise at the end of that then?
So, I wrote a note on what it was. I don't know. If
Do you
John
hear
can
that
see
at the
I don't know. I got to pull it up. I deleted all of his notes, obviously, because that would make it easier.
I'm pretty sure this was he just rolled, and he just failed everything on the roll. So it was almost like a knee slap at the end of it.
Or like,
Oh, it
so you know,
sounds
sometimes
like
players
a
like
lead
rub their
slap.
Yeah,
chest
they
mic
rub
by
their chest.
accident. They're like I roll. It's a 12-inch charge. I only
I
rolled
did
an
not.
11.
I did not anticipate this being as difficult
I spent
as.
so long making sure these were hard.
I'm sure you made sure these were hard.
They're very hard.
Oh, I bet you did.
Some of them are hard.
Oh, Danny, you have the chance to take the entire game here with this one.
Oh my god.
This is our fifth sound. I'm going to ask you, whose grunt is this anyway?
I'm gonna need to hear that at least twice more.
Okay, so is this a porn or 40K game?
John,
Or is it a villager in Minecraft? I don't want emeralds, thank you.
Oh no.
John, I'm gonna go with porn.
Oh, really? Really, that one?
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
porn. Yeah.
he got
So-
me. He got me.
That
Well,
person
there's no
sounds
way for you to
too
win.
skinny.
No, but you got to do glass. Come on. We may never do this game again.
Val, you can still win back a little bit of pride with our final song. Dickie found so many. It was really hard to narrow them just down to 6, especially because only 2 of them are 40K related.
Yep.
But here is that last sound, just for you, Val. Whose grunt is this anyway?
Okay. One more.
Instantly,
One
by the
more,
way,
one more,
podcast
one more.
numbers dropped for this episode.
One more.
How does it drop so good?
I think that was someone being accused of having loaded dice. I'm gonna go 40K.
40K.
Hey!
That was 40K. Yay!
Gets on the board.
Gets on the board. But yeah, that was it never
Wow.
repeated. And amazing. Whose grunt is it anyway? Bum's
I'm
asking,
sorry
how's
for
that monetization going? Starting next episode, actually. But maybe not. It's all right. We've already passed the checks. Oh, Dickie, that was really good.
I thought that
Wow.
was really good.
That was
really
pretty
good. I
good, I
enjoyed
guess.
Oh yeah.
Guys, how do you feel, Danny is champion of knowing your pornographic grunts?
Yeah, good for you, Danny.
You know, John, the sense of victory is something that brings me great pride and distinction. I can't imagine being so far above my peers, yet so down to earth and on the same level as them. It's truly an honor. It's truly an honor.
Bet you didn't realize when you were at work today, this is how you'd be spending your night, and I appreciate you for being here.
It was very
As
good,
we're-
fellas. Very
As
good.
we're rounding out the day in a much better time show this week, we do have time, of course, for our listener questions. Guys, if you want to support the show, oh, that's right, Danny, you had a buzzer, and then we just totally ignored the whole thing. But good job getting them. We gave
I just
them
wanted to
buzzers,
do it
and then
one
I didn't
time,
give them the
John. I
chance
was
to
really
use them.
excited to use it.
But if you go to grimafterdark.com, you find all of our pertinent links for our socials and kind of the podcast where you can find everything. You can also support us on Patreon. And when you can do that, you get to join the Grim Cord, where you can, for one, be the first people to see the toilet flush dice, which we shared everywhere immediately because it was hilarious. But you can also ask us questions that we will answer at the end of the show. Starting this week with this guy here from Kriegerbot Chaz. Patreon question: when will John put his Alaskan English degree to good use and write an erotic 40K fanfic with time-traveling Nazis and furries, aka 40K's answer to Twilight?
I mean, hasn't he done that multiple times with Falcon Fiction? Like, I mean, clearly John has
Sorry,
been
I
writing
just assumed
them.
that you wrote all of those. John.
Yeah.
Did you not write any of those short stories?
Wrote none of those. Much like a good college student, it was all Chat GPT or somewhere else. And I will say it's not Alaskan English. It's just English. Well, American English, which is another kind. And from the way, Krieger, that you're writing so specifically, I feel you've already written that one. So you go ahead and add my name to it. It's fine. I approve. It's a quality thing. And then, Danny, this one here, specifically for you. It's how many subscribers do we need to get for Danny to be one of those WA orc players?
I will delete the fucking Discord before I do that.
Jokes on you, I've already done that once. That was fun.
Yeah, no, you totally did do
That's the old knowledge. Back when we were mob rules, I accidentally deleted the Discord because I hit the wrong option, and I had to message everyone to be like, hey, I deleted all of this, my bad. And then Paul Winters asking, how many subscribers do we need to get for Danny to be one of those guard players that make soft, sensual moans as they deploy their 23 tanks?
All right, hold on.
Which
I'll do
I
it
don't-
for
Prescient.
free.
In light of the game, prescient.
Which is why I said that. But I also don't understand this reference. So Danny, is that sort of like a hidden Pacific Northwest knowledge thing that you moan when you deploy
Oh yeah,
tanks?
well you know Paul Winters. We always made the joke that he has an electric car, but he replaced like, the sound that it made, like when it's supposed to stop, with like a sensual moan. Like
that's the
Paul
so,
Winters is a famous plays only Slanesh models,
Yeah.
so we like to give him the business here in the
He
Pacific
does.
Northwest.
The best part was we went to Charity Hammer, and Paul rolls up in an electric vehicle at a time where electric vehicles aren't very common, and it's the weirdest sound ever coming from a car, where it's just like, ooh. And as soon as he stepped out of this car, now I've talked to this person online. I'd never met him in person before, But the first thing I say to him, I was like, "Did you reprogram your car to softly moan as you drive?" Because that's exactly what it sounded like. That's what you get with me, guys.
He would if he could.
He would if he could. No, just hope he never has to press the horn.
That's right.
Guys, that was sure was a grim.
Super good. Yeah, great one to go out on, fellas.
Yeah. This is going to be Val's last one for a while.
Yeah.
As Val shoots Daddy Daycare 3.
Baby girl's coming Wednesday.
When is
No
That's
later
crazy.
than
Oh,
Wednesday.
that's so
I mean,
cool, dude.
maybe my wife's in labor right now. I don't know. I'm doing a podcast.
It's very late 30s of you, Val. Good job.
I
What?
turned off my phone.
My wife said, "I don't know. I'm podcasting right now. I don't have time for this kind of
I
stuff."
don't have time for that. baby
But even
business.
though Val's taking some much needed and earned leave, we'll be back next Monday, probably with Dickie. Val's like, "Hey, we should get some guest hosts. This person's great. This person's got a great following," and I'm just like, "Nah." So we'll continue to ruin the show without Val. So when he comes back,
Right.
he's gonna come back to just a pile of ashes.
That's fine. It's a smoldering ruin as it is, so that's fine. It would be home. It'd be like coming home again.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's true. Well, excited for you to come home, and well, you guys are in Canada, so I'm assuming paternity leave is like a year and a half, as opposed to America where it's an hour and a half. Anything you want to say before we sign out for the night, Valerie?
Well, no, this is an absolute great show, and love to be a part of it. Keep my seat warm, Dickie, and
Got it.
yeah, and good luck out there, guys.
Yeah, Danny. Anything you want to add before signing off?
Oh yeah, we're gonna miss Val a lot. So the time he's gone.
The best part was I managed to hit the button right as your mouth was covered by the microphone. Yeah, that was great. Good. Sorry, you were saying.
So it looked just like I was saying that. It was perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was it? You just wanted to go.
Yep.
Classic.
Classic. We'll be back next week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here in Grim After Dark. Like I said, find all of our socials and ways to support us at grimafterdark.com. And we'll be back next Monday live at 10 p.m. Eastern-ish. And if you can't catch us live, subscribe to the podcast and all good services. And remember, when your life it feels like a never-ending siege and you can't read the script correctly, just remember that it's always grim after dark.
Boom, blowing those eardrums out.
Yeah, well, I had to sound it up for the moans because the moans were at a much lower level. Anyway, I'm going to put some in here.
Oh, I see.
That's
Oh,
good.
wait, that's the
now
same
we're
song, yeah.
completely cut out.
No, Moans, no.
Oh, that was good. I like that one. It's a good game, Dickie.
That's a great game.
Yeah, that was an all-timer. Yes, Old Man Mason provided some of them. That was very good.
You didn't get to my favorite one, the bird song one, John.
Oh, no, I didn't put that on because that was so fucking long.
Oh, so
What was the
good,
bird
though.
song one?
It was the tight muscle shirt or whatever. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Wait, was that this one? No, that was I put a buzzer wrong sound in instead.
Oh, so good.
Terrible.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Vic, don't retract messages. I see you.